Daniel was arrested last year for assaulting an emergency worker, a police officer. Daniel doesn't trust the police and feels that he and his friends are sometimes targeted by police to the point of harassment. However, Daniel felt bad that he'd pushed and then punched and kicked the policewoman in the face, causing bruising around an eye. He wishes he'd responded differently.
So hi, Daniel. I'm Jess.
Nice to meet you, Jess.
Nice to meet you. So we're just going to talk a little bit about what happened that day, where you're at with things now, how you're feeling, what you're thinking about it. So just talk me through what happened.
Me and my friends, we was walking. Came home from school. I got a call on Snapchat from my friend. He told me, come, let's go play football at the cage. On my way to the cage, I was walking. Police officer, they saw me. I was just talking the same rubbish I always hear. Somebody's been robbed, you match the description. I'm pushing them away because I don't really want them to put their hands on me. As they come closer, I start to get scared. So my defenses went up and I hit the officer.
So you hit the female officer?
Yeah.
And what were you thinking as you went to sort of send that punch?
I just wasn't thinking really. The adrenaline was there, my heart was racing. I'm talking about the situation, it just makes my mind go blank. I wasn't really thinking at that time, I just threw the punch and then next thing I knew I was in a cell. When we got home that day, my mum never even spoke to me.
And how are you feeling about things now?
I feel really sorry. All the pain that I've had that police caused me, I took it out on one police officer. However, that's making me just as bad as them, basically saying, in their point of view, everyone wearing a police officer outfit is bad. However, the police also have some opinions saying everyone wearing a tracksuit is up to no good. And I think me doing that, I'm just as bad as them. But I'm saying this police officer is a human too. I fail to see that sometimes. And sometimes I just get so angry in the moment that I can't control myself. I'm still angry about being searched, yes. However, I understand and I feel sorry for what I've done to this police officer. Who knows, she might have kids, she might, I don't know.
And can you tell me who else was impacted by the situation?
My family, especially my kids.
What do you need now?
I just want Daniel to understand the effect it's had on me as a human being. It could have been his family member that was assaulted. I was just doing my job.
So before we start today, we'd like to thank you for the commitment that you've both shown in preparing for today's meeting, and for the courage and the strength that you're both demonstrating by choosing to be here voluntarily today. We do realise that this isn't an easy process for either of you. I'm going to start off today, as we discussed, just by explaining who we all are and why we're here. Jessica's then going to remind us all of the ground rules that you set as being needed to ensure that we can get the most out of this space. So I'm Alex, and I'll be facilitating today's meeting with Jessica, and our role here is just to ensure that we create a safe, secure and restorative space. We're neutral in this process and we're not here to take sides. PC Macaulay, you are here today as the person harmed, and Daniel, you are here today as the young person who's taken responsibility for being involved in that harm. Daniel, on the 15th of July, while she was on duty, you assaulted PC Macaulay. You pleaded guilty at court and received a 6-month referral order to work with the Youth Justice Service. We're not here today to decide if you're a good or a bad person. We're here today to discuss the impact of your actions and to talk through what you both need from each other to repair the harm that was caused on that day.
We have already discussed what it takes to make this a safe space and what it takes to get the most from this meeting. I'd like to remind you of what you both said and what we all agreed. We ask that you remain open to hearing the other person's truth. There'll be a chance to reply to everything that is said today, so please remember not to talk over each other and allow each other the time and respect to finish. We'd like everyone to be honest but we'd ask that you don't use offensive or threatening language. We're not expecting any fire alarms today, but if there is one, please follow myself and Alex.
As we previously discussed, meetings like this can sometimes feel very overwhelming. So there is a room available just down the corridor, so if at any point you need to take time out or you need a toilet break, then please just let either Jessica or myself know, and one of us will escort you. In relation to support after the meeting, you both opted not to have somebody with you during this meeting, but you have identified someone that's aware that you're coming and that you'll be able to speak to you later on should you wish. We're also going to give you a call later as we discussed, and then we'll check in again with you in a couple of weeks' time.
We'd like to invite you to stay on after the meeting for some refreshments, but the choice is yours. Are you both okay with this? So Daniel, tell us what happened that day.
I was just in the street with some friends. We was walking. Suddenly a police car stopped us, saying they had a few questions. Before you knew it, they hopped out the car and searched me. At first, I was just trying to create distance between me and the officers. Hell, I even pushed the officer. However, that caused the opposite effect, and then I ended up punching and kicking the police officer. That was it.
What were you thinking when they came up to you?
I was thinking, why me again? Why am I always being searched?
Can you remember how you felt?
How I felt?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was embarrassed for one. I was angry. I didn't want to listen. I think the main reason is because I'm always being searched. But before I even hear what they say, I know what they're going to say.
What are your thoughts and feelings about it all now?
I hate that it happened. I hate that I lost it. This is not me. I do not hurt people. I still feel properly bad about it, you know? They pick on me and I don't understand it. Getting stopped is overwhelming, you know? Scary. You go into fight or flight. Before you know it, when I see police on the street, I get mad, nervous. Just the uniform makes me uneasy, in the worst way.
Who's been affected by this?
What do you mean?
Who's been hurt by this incident?
You want to know who's been hurt by this? My mum has been hurt by this. More than me, more than anyone. My nan too, heartbroken and upset. My friends and I don't trust the police neither. We walk around not knowing when we'll be stopped and searched. And it's stressful. My mum was shocked and ashamed. She doesn't want me being at YJS and mixing with the others here. My nan can't understand why I got so angry. To her, I'm not really the angry type.
Daniel, thank you for talking so openly.
To help us get a better understanding of the harm caused that day, please, McCalling, can you tell us what happened from your perspective?
I was patrolling when a call came over the radio that a young female had been robbed of her phone. I went around the corner and looked and saw someone fitting that description. I saw Daniel, who matched the description at the time, so I had to stop him and search him for the stolen phone.
And what were your thoughts when you approached the boys?
I was just thinking about the victim and how I wanted to get her phone back. I know how important my phone is to me.
How were you feeling?
I can't remember how I was feeling. Just getting on with the job. I remember how I felt when he punched me. The pain on my face and the shock of it. I had to think quickly. Keep calm, be professional, respond quickly, try not to be angry. Because I had been assaulted, I had to use force and restrain him and arrest him.
How are you feeling about it now?
I've still got a bit of pain on my face and I'm still embarrassed that everyone saw me with a black eye. The bruise on my leg was not too bad. I also struggle with frustration, really, of being assaulted just because I'm doing my job.
And what are your thoughts about it all now?
I know it just makes it harder for both myself and Daniel, really. The stop and search could have been over in 5 minutes. Daniel didn't have anything on him, and he wasn't even involved in that robbery. It was distressing what happened. I want him to know that I didn't just pick on him. We have been told to look for someone that fits his description, and it just was not a random act.
And how has it affected you?
I feel awful. Going back to the station, embarrassed. Worst of all, I had to go home to my kids and my family. I had a wedding, a family wedding that weekend. I didn't want to go with a black eye, but I couldn't get out of it. It was so humiliating to go through.
It was humiliating for me as well.
Let PC Macaulay finish.
You will get your chance to speak and be heard soon, Daniel.
And who else has been affected by this?
Most of all, my children and my cousins, my colleagues, my friends. It's been hard.
And what's been the hardest thing for you about this incident?
Doing my job a bit harder, stopping people, more difficult. Because I'm worried about being attacked. When officers get assaulted, it just raises our awareness of officer safety. We're always considering it.
Thank you for sharing that.
Could I have a quick break, please?
Of course, no problems. Let's take a break.
Are you okay, Daniel? How does it feel to hear all of this? You're doing really well. Do you need to take a break?
I have changed into my everyday clothes just to show you that I'm a human being. I want you to feel okay to talk to me. I don't want you to feel uneasy about it. And you know what? It's okay to call me Nancy. Doing the job I do, it's not easy. And it's not all the time that I feel safe out and about. I just want people to understand that I'm just doing a job and that it's a hard job. I want you to know, Daniel, that I didn't pick on you just for the sake of it. I was just looking for someone who resembled or who was fitting that description that day, and you were dressed like that. It would have been over so fast. As an officer and a mother of boys, I know the impact of stop and search on young people. If you didn't like what I did or how I spoke to you, you could have always taken my shoulder number and make a complaint. Your officer would have helped you with that.
I don't really trust people to listen if I complain. But the police have to be more respectful if they have to stop young people. I don't really trust people to listen if I complain. But police, they have to be more respectful when stopping young people. I do want to say sorry to you. I didn't mean to hurt you. I don't want to hurt people.
That's partly why I'm here today, Daniel. I want to hear what you've got to say. You know, I know young people are worried about the complaints process, But there is a complaints process, and you have the rights, to make complaints. You have legal rights and expectations from police officers, and your yachts officer would have helped you with that. To be honest, it would be good if people know their rights and how to complain. It would help all of us work better together. I want people to trust the police. That's one of the reasons I joined. I accept your apology today, Daniel, and I really appreciate that you listened to me. I would like for you to get on with your life and not get into trouble again, especially getting arrested. I really appreciate hearing from you today. It's good to be reminded how difficult it can be for young people.
Thank you both for listening and being so open today. You've both shown a huge amount of courage and respect.
PC Macaulay could have pressed for reparation. Either work in the community or a letter. She felt that meeting Daniel directly and feeling that he understood was enough for her, though. Jess and Alex talked to both Daniel and PC Macaulay immediately after the meeting, recording their initial responses, especially their thoughts and feelings. People who've taken part in restorative justice conferences sometimes need more time to process what has happened in the meeting. So Jess and Alex then met up with them both separately a week later to complete evaluation.
So how are you feeling about last week's meeting?
Better.
Better how?
I'm having a lot of feelings about it. However, one thing that I know is that I'm very proud of myself for having that meeting.
How did you find it?
Well,
Did you find it hard?
it was definitely hard. On a side note, it was very good for me because telling Nancy how I felt about the stop and search had a positive effect on me.
How do you think Nancy might be feeling about it now?
Well, I hope she's okay, I said sorry. I hope she heard it, Seeing her outside of her police uniform was one of the greatest things for me because I was able to see her as a real human being.
So do you think by meeting Daniel face to face it's made a difference?
Yeah, that's really helped, because officers, when you get assaulted on the streets and when you deal with those incidents every day, you carry a lot of trauma around. But having that face to face, listening to what he had to say, him listening to me as well, I felt like he heard me, that was a very, impactful. I appreciated that more than a compensation from court. So, because I know probably he wouldn't even have to pay for that. His parents were going to pay for it. But yeah, I benefited a lot from the conference. I really appreciated you taking me through that process. It was, it was worthwhile. I really, really appreciated that.